Hello, my name is Tom, and I'm excited to welcome you again on this platform where I share on thoughts about leadership. And I follow an approach called 3-2-1 Take Action. And that simply means I give you 3 thoughts around leadership, 2 tips on how you can move your leadership forward, and 1 specific action step that you can take along your leadership journey. Today, I'm going to be talking about leadership versus football. I'm a big football fan, and those who know me personally can attest to this. I think when I talk about football, if you're not a football fan, you can apply these same thoughts to any team sports that you consider your own, favorite sport or what you like to watch. And there are 3 thoughts around football that I'd like to share as it relates to leadership. The first is role clarity. Now in football, we have people who are called the defenders, who know their job is to prevent the other team from scoring. In that team, we also have the attackers, whose job is to try and score the other team. Now, the attackers and the defenders are very clear on their roles and their responsibilities. And in between the attackers and defenders, we have another group of people called the midfielders, who are like the string that hold things together. Football has taught me a lot about role clarity, and I think that's a great insight for you as a leader as well. You want to ensure that every member of your team understands what their role is. The second thing that football has taught me about leadership is that, there is leadership at different levels within a football team, especially if it's a football club. Now, a football club like Liverpool, which I support, has the leadership in the boardroom, the organization itself that owns the club. There's a coach who is also a leader in his own right. But of course, then in the locker room, there's also a leader, one of the team players that just happens to have this charisma and inspiration that he inspires the team with. There is also another leader that's on the pitch. Sometimes it's the same leader in the locker room, sometimes it's not. On the pitch, there is somebody that is just calling out the team and saying, guys, we can do this, we can make this work. Let's go out there and win this for our team. One thing I love about football is that it shows me that there is leadership at different levels. And if any of those levels of leadership fails, the organization as a whole fails. The football clubs that are very successful have experienced excellent leadership at all those different levels, and the football clubs that haven't done so well have experienced failure of leadership at one of those levels. So for me, leadership at all levels comes out very clearly when I look at football. The third thing I would like to mention that I see when I look at football is the definition of success. Now, when I watch some football matches, it's very interesting to note that while one team is rejoicing that there's a draw, the other team is not very happy that there's a draw. Or sometimes one team loses and they're still celebrating, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm sure you may have seen this also maybe in the Olympics, and on the podium you have the person who won bronze, the person who won silver, and the person who won gold. And for whatever reason, the person who won bronze is sometimes happier than the person who won silver, because the definition of success for everyone is very different. Now, in leadership as well, you want to be very clear to define what success looks like for your team, because the definition of success and helping your team achieve that level of success is critical for momentum. When you don't clarify what success looks like and the team doesn't achieve that, it breaks momentum. So those are 3 thoughts I'd like to leave when it comes to team sports or football specifically around leadership. 1 is role clarity, 2nd is leadership at all levels, and the 3rd is definition of success. Now, let me share with you 2 tips that you can apply very specifically for your team and for yourself when it comes to leadership along these 3 lines that I've talked about. The first is this: for any team that you're part of, ensure that everyone is clear on their roles and how those roles complement together to bring out the best for the team. Ensure that the team works together with that role clarity and engender leadership at all levels. Like I talked about, those leaders that are in the boardroom or in the locker room or right there on the pitch, you need leaders at all levels as well. The attackers in the football team might be like your sales team. The defenders in the football team might be like your production team, those who are trying to reduce cost and those who are trying to drive revenue. Everyone has a role to play, and let it be clear to the whole team that everyone's role is important. That's the first tip I would leave with you. The second tip I would leave with you is that you want to be very clear on your definition of success. Now, what does that mean? Perhaps you just started a team and you guys are trying to achieve 10,000 in sales. And I'm just using that as a very broad example. Now, your team is currently working at 100 or 2,000 right now. What you want to do is to clearly define to them the milestones of success that will eventually get them to that 10,000 that you're looking to aspire for. And as you hit each of those milestones, celebrate that success. Because when you define success as the success at that level, and the team achieves success at that level, they are better empowered. And like I said, momentum is building for them to take on the next challenge and the next challenge and the next challenge. Now, the person celebrating a draw in a match isn't stupid. They recognize that if they're able to just acknowledge the progress they've made and celebrate that success, they are better positioned to do better next time. So those are my 2 tips to you on leadership. And now I come forward with my 1 action point. I'd like you to think through these thoughts I've shared and think about the team that you're part of right now and ask yourself, which of these is important for us that I need to apply within this team? Do we need to be clear on what our roles and responsibilities are? Do we need to explain to everyone that although you don't have the position, you're a leader and we need leadership at every level? Or do we need to help ourselves clarify what does success look like for us in this stage and this phase that we're in? Remember, it's not the knowledge that you have in your head that makes a difference, it's the knowledge that you act upon. Remember, therefore, to take action. Take care and bye for now.